Welcome back to my channel. Today I will be talking about chapter 6 for William Faulkner's Absalom. So from this chapter we are jumping scenes, and this is where Quentin is in Cambridge in his college dorm or living quarters with his roommate or friend called Shreve, and he had received a letter from his father from Mississippi, and in the letter his dad is telling him that Miss Rosa has passed away and he had attended her burial. Let's see. Here's a description that I thought was interesting about Miss Coldfield. It says, and the black reticule, almost as large as a carpet bag, containing all the keys which the house possessed, cupboard, closet, and doors, some of which would not even turn, and locks which, shot home, should be solved by any child with a hairpin or a wad of chewing gum. So she's carrying around a huge bag of keys, kind of similar to how she is carrying around all this history and memory of the past in this bag, and some of these keys don't even work, and she's just carrying and dragging it along with her. And then basically Shreve, this new friend, kind of summarizes his understanding after learning about all of the stories that we've been going through. So basically it's like another summary of everything what we've learned, but in a different perspective, in a more organized summary, but also adding more new stuff to it. So yeah, there's a section here where Miss Rosa and Quentin goes to look for that hidden person in the Sutpin 100, and going back to the very beginning of the story, she's looking for somebody to help her with something, and I question, is this the reason? Is she trying to find that hidden person? That's why she chose Quentin. That's why she's telling him all of this story. And then we kind of get a glimpse of Sutpin's death at the beginning, mention of the scythe. I'm not sure if it's a symbolism or if it's really the way he had died, but this is also being summarized by Shreve, the friend, and we learned that after Rosa leaves, Sutpin starts a little store, since he can't provide, he can't grow his crops anymore. So out of desperation, I guess, that's his new occupation. And this section, it mentions about a 15-year-old, I think it's about Jones's granddaughter. I'm getting the vibe that she is pregnant, and I'm guessing it's implied by Sutpin, but I wasn't sure. And then we also start to see how Jones and the hierarchy of Jones and Sutpin is kind of becoming the same. Jones was, poor before the war, and Sutpin was well off. He was a plantation owner, and Jones was not allowed in certain premises of the home or the house, but now they're pretty much equal, and he's like helping Sutpin up when he gets crazy drunk. And you start to see that the line becomes not as clear anymore of their status. And then, we learn of his death and how it goes. And how Judith deals with it. And then Jones is gone as well after Sutpin's death. And she sells the store to purchase 3 more headstones. I believe there were 2 already purchased by Sutpin himself before the war. So there's 5 headstones when Quentin or Shreve brings up the story of when Quentin and his father goes to visit the Sutpin 100 before this present time. And there are 5 headstones, and 2 were already there, which were made out of marble. And so Sutpin had purchased it, the best quality from overseas, for himself and Ellen. And then the 3 other added later was purchased by Judith by selling the store after Sutpin has passed. And so there's Ellen, Sutpin, and Charles Bond buried there, and also Charles Etienne Saint-Valery Bond, which is Charles Bond's child. And then Judith is also laid to rest there as well. And so, at the moment when Quentin and his father are visiting the gravesite in the Sutpin 100, they are talking about how the child of Charles Bond has visited with his mother, visited the gravesite of Charles Bond, and his mother is weeping. The wife of Charles Bond. And Mr. Compson talks about how women could do this kind of stuff. And then also we jump to the part where the mother of the child dies, and either Clyde or Judith's idea, we don't know for sure, but Clyde goes to New Orleans, her first time ever leaving the area, and to go fetch this child so that they can adopt him and raise him with them. And he does not speak any English, he only speaks French, and so there's a lot of not conflict but hardship and understanding each other, bit of resentment possibly, and it's a weird situation, I guess. He's adopted by the fiance of his own father, and they don't speak the same languages, and it's in the South after the war. So, right. And then, let's see. And then we get to know a little bit more about the child, Charles Jr., and how he didn't really have a childhood. And it says not in the sense that Miss Coldfield says she has no childhood. So we got a glimpse of her struggles, but it's really incomparable to the struggles that this child has, this half black, or not half, but like 16th black and white child surviving in the South. And there's a mention of the butterfly again. And right, let's see. And we see the things that he has to deal with being half or mixed, and he's not quite white enough, but he's not quite black enough. And he sees Clyde sleeping on a pallet on the floor versus Judith gets to sleep on a bed, and he is somewhere in between, like, where do I sleep? And he gets arrested for something. I think it was for gambling, but nobody really knows. There's not a really good witness, and he's also kind of caught in that in-between situation between the blacks and the whites, and and the judge is white, and they don't really know him because he's not from there, but he's an adult now, so nobody knew about him. People are speculating that he's actually Clyde's child, or with Sutpin or something, or all these different rumors, and they're trying to understand, oh, that's probably the reason why Henry killed Charles, the father, and stuff like that, because nobody knew about the child. And a lot of different stories, made up gossip come about. And then when he gets arrested, when he's an adult, Quentin's grandfather bails him out, and he gives him a chunk of money and tells him to get out of here, like run away. But he comes back. Charles Jr. comes back. He actually brings a wife with him, and so he's mixed, and his wife is black, and she's carrying a child, his child, and Judith even suggests him to run away to the north, but because he might get away with it better than his wife because he's mixed. But of course he doesn't do that. And all these suggestions that these white people try to give because they don't have no idea what to do and don't even consider what he wants. And then So he continues to live there and starts farming at the Sutpin 100. This was way after Sutpin has passed. But he gets yellow fever. And Judith also gets yellow fever because she was nursing him when he was sick. And Judith dies, and then he falls as well. So they both die within the same year, same disease. And then Clyde is left with the child. I'm not sure what happens to the mother, but Clyde raises Charles Jr.'s son, which his name is Jim Bond. And right, and then we get into Quentin's mind a bit. He's saying how Shreve is sounding like his father, telling him the story over and over again. And he's also still remembering the time when he went to visit the gravesite with his dad. And the house is a place he fears, along with the man that guided them there or took them there. But his dad, Mr. Compson, is just like whatever about it, and doesn't see why the fear or the fear that the other two have. And then I say, right, and Clyde has been there. Everybody knows that she's there. Even as children, they would explore the place, the haunted place, and she'd be there, and it's like a thing the young kids did when they were kids. So that's why Quentin and the man fear the location compared to Mr. Compson. And I think that's about it. So that would be the summary for this chapter. Thank you for watching.